Very good afternoon, students. Now, continuing with the lecture of banking and insurance. So, we are discussing about the international banking system. So, we have already discussed the various things regarding the international banking system. We will now continue with the topics where we are left behind, and today we will complete the module of the international banking system, and for which we are discussing. So now, as of now, we have discussed till here, that is till the this that that is offshore banking sector. So what is the meaning of offshore banking sector? Till the last lecture we have discussed it here. So now, next lecture, in the today's lecture, we will discuss about the why the international bank comes into the existence. So what are the reasons for the international banking? As of all, we are having the national banking. So what is the reasons for what are the requirements of the international banking in the today's world? For example, now the due to the policy of globalization, every country is attached with the another country through the multinational corporations or through the business of import and export. So if we enter into such business practices, then to execute the business transactions, there are more than one currency is involved. For example, if we are doing the business in the local currency, then there is no need of an international banking system, because the trading is being done in the single currency only. Now, when the trading has to be done, or the business with the other countries has to be done in the different currencies, this will what the concept of the international banking system. For example, a trader from the India who has exported the goods to UAE wants the payment in the US dollars. Now in the UAE, the currency is AED, whereas the person who is doing the export wants the currency in the US dollars, whereas the currency in India is INR. So here there is a very important functions to be implemented by the international banks or the international banking system to execute that business transactions. So moving to the reasons of for the international banking, what are the reasons why the international banking has come into the existence? So here, first is the low marginal cost. Now the marginal cost and marketing knowledge well at home can be used abroad with the low marginal cost. For example, now, what is the marginal cost? Marginal cost is the cost available for the next best available alternative. Now, if what will be the next best available alternative with the business? So here, now the marginal cost of the company or the banking are very low in the case of international banking, because they are having the wide market knowledge. For example, HSBC Bank, that is Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation, is having their branches in the maximum countries in the world. Now, they are having the market knowledge of all the countries, because in all the countries, the maximum countries of the world, they are functioning. So if they want to offer a banking services or the product and services to the consumer, then it can be easily allotted, because the person is having the various banking services or the international banking services. So, and they are also having the knowledge about the different economies, so they can offer the products and services accordingly. So this will help the banks to lower down their marginal costs. The first reason is for the international banking system. Second, knowledge advantage. As we know that the foreign bank, a subsidiary can draw on a parent bank. Knowledge of personal contacts and credit investigations are used in the foreign market. Now, for example, what it means, as we have taken the first example, the person is doing a business of import and export in India, and they are having a bank account with the HSBC Bank. Now, in another, a person in USA is also doing a import and export business with China, and the person in China doing an import and export business with the person in Australia. So here, now the banks are having their subsidiary branches, because the holding company is the company, holding banking company is the company which is holding various subsidiary banks. Now now what will they take? They will take the knowledge advantage which can be drawn from the parent bank's knowledge. Now, parent bank knowledge means, now all this information, all the transactions which are done among these countries are are, are to be shared with the parent bank. Now the parent bank is having a huge database of the requirements of the persons in the different countries. So they can, using their contacts, they can, using their contacts and credit investigations, they can provide a best services to the person who is in touch in the international business. So this is the second main reason for the developments of the international banks in the market. So they will provide the knowledge, that is they are having a knowledge advantage because they are functioning in more than one countries in the world. Second, third point, home nation information services. The third point is local firms in the foreign market may be able to obtain more complete information on trade and financial markets in the multinational banks home nation, that is obtainable from the foreign market banks. Now here what the home nation information sources that, for example, the bank, let's take another bank, that is City Financial or the JP Morgan Bank, which is having the main branch in USA, JP Morgan. Now here the home nation information services means the local firms in the foreign market which are dealing through the particular bank. So from that a complete information is trade and financial markets in the MNC banks are being taken. So here using that information, the foreign bank will provide the services and will provide the products to the consumer. So this is another important point. Third, prestigious. Now the third reason for the existence of the international bank is the prestige, because very large MNC banks have the high prestige, high means the high perception, which can be attractive to the new clients. For the, we are taking the example of JP Morgan Bank. Now they are having, now it is an international bank, it is an MNC bank, so it is having a very precise, now perceived means, so it is assumed that the when the bank is functioning in more than one country, then they can provide better product and services because they are having the knowledge of each company, and they will also assist the clients in operating their business. So due to their perceived prestige, many of the person open the account in such bank. So these will attract the new clients because they are having the huge database, huge knowledge, and they are having a practice of working in conditions of every country. So either favorable or unfavorable conditions in the every country, and they will provide a technical know-how to the importer and exporter regarding the particular product or the things to be done through the international trade. So this is the next point, that is the regulatory advantages. Now the multinational banks are often not subject to the some regulation as a domestic bank. Now, for example, if we are having a one bank which is not a MNC bank, let's take an example of PSB Bank in India. Now, it has to follow more strict rules and regulations of the RBI. Whereas a bank, for example, we will just take another example of City Financial. Now, it is the bank, it is the MNC, its holding companies in USA. So, in that case of the City Financial, so the rules and regulations are not same as of the domestic bank. So they are given various relaxations regarding the rules and regulation because they have entered into India through FDI, that is the foreign direct investment in India. So they are having the various benefits which are not being provided to the domestic banks in the country. So again, this is the regulatory advantages, and this is another reason for the development of international banking system. Next, wholesale defensive strategy. Now defensive means when the person have a strategies not to bear the losses or to avoid the losses in the adverse business conditions or in the adverse market conditions. So here in this bank will in this here in this, that is defensive strategies, bank follow their multinational customers abroad and avoid losing their business in the home and abroad. Now bank, what bank will do due to the wholesale defensive strategy, they will follow their multinational customers abroad and avoid losing their business at home and abroad. So they can they can follow and they can make policies, they can make strategies according to their consumers. So to avoid the any losses in the local market as well as in the foreign market. Let's take an example. If the person is having a trade with USA and is having an account in any of the international bank or the MNC bank, so the person, when the transaction is to be done, so he may enter into the contract in such a way that the currency rate fluctuations or the prices fluctuations can be hedged. through the various policies or strategies of the international banking system. So this is the another important topic for the existence of international banking system. Next is the retail defense strategy. First, wholesale means to the customer who are the large customers or who are HNWs, that is the high net worth individuals. Next is the retail defensive strategy. MNC Bank also complete for the retail services such as traveler checks, tourist, foreign business market, etc. Now, why this has been done? Again, let's take an example. If the bank want to offer a best product and services in the market, so the retail defensive strategy, in the retail defensive strategy, only a retail customers are being targeted by the bank. So if these are targeted by the bank, with this, if the banks will issue such as traveler check, tourist and foreign business market, etc., with this bank will get to know that what type of person or the what type of transactions are are mostly done by the individuals in the particular country. So this will add a knowledge, and this will help the banks to provide a technical assistance to their corporate clients by providing the database and by providing the business analytical database to the large business houses, so they can uh, uh, render their services or make product and services accordingly, which should be accepted by the consumers at the of the various types. For example, if we are taking an example of a tourist company, that is Cox and Kings. Now, in that case, if the company wants to provide a better product and services to consumer, so the bank will assist them to uh, through their database or through their technical knowledge, that how the services are to be provided to the consumer to get the maximum benefits. So this is the another example and the reason why international banking system has been established. Next is the transaction cost. Now, multinational banking may be able to circumvent common currency controls. Now, how they can circumvent these controls? Let's take an example. For example, a bank who is doing business in n number of countries. Let's take an example of JP Morgan. It is another, or a Bank of America who is doing their business in many of the countries. So this is another reason why the international banking system has been established. That is the transaction cost. For example, a person has done the export of goods and services from India to USA. So the payment is to be done in the form of US dollars. If the person is holding account with the domestic bank, in that there was a transaction cost, that is the currency conversion charges are to be paid or by the person who has done the import. For example, a person has done the import from USA in India, so the payment is to be made in US dollars. So if he buy the US dollars, then it may be available at the higher prices in India. So if the person is having an account with the banks like City Financial, JP Morgan, HSBC Bank, Bank of America, the banks which are already having their businesses in more than one country. So if so, and for the client, for example, the client importer is having the account with Bank of America in India, and the exporter is having the account with any of the other bank in America. Now the payment is to be made in US dollars. Now what the bank will be do here? The bank will settle the amount of rupees in Indian currency with the US dollar in any of the foreign bank. And on the contrary, if someone has exported something from India, the amount is to be received in US dollars. Now here, rather than physical transaction of the currency, the virtual transaction of the currency has been done, because the settlement of rupees with rupees and dollars with dollars has been done for the different traders, and the balance will be adjusted at the end. So here the transaction cost versus the currency conversion charges are being avoided, because here one this is an example, because n numbers of person are exporting from India and n number of person are importing to India. So the transaction which has, without converting the transaction into the another currency, just by the virtual conversion, the transaction is settled by the international banks, which will circumvent the government currency control, and also the transaction cost of such bank is very less as compared to the domestic bank, because they are providing various services. Next is the growth. Foreign markets may offer opportunities to grow not found domestically. Now they can also provide the growth which is not provided domestically, Growth. Now, how it is, it helps in the foreign. Now, this is the growth. This is another point which helps emerging or the commencement of the foreign banks in the world. Next, the foreign markets may offer the opportunities for the growth not found domestic. Now, what this point means? This means that when the information is not provided, not available domestically. For example, the person doing the business of export with another country is not having the knowledge regarding the condition, the economic condition, or the financial conditions of that country. So this will help the person to grow their business by using the knowledge which is provided by the multinational banks to the domestic business holder, which is not found by the any of the businessmen domestically in the one country. For example, if the person is sending a person is exporting goods and services from India to UAE. Now here, the person is not having the knowledge about the economic as well as the financial conditions and all other conditions of that country. So if they are having the account with the bank, account with the such bank, which is a multinational corporation, so as the bank is also providing the assistance services or the services or such services which help the business to grow. So they may provide the information to the particular exporter that what type of products can be exported, what should not be done while export, what is the ethical behavior should be followed, how the currency is to be converted, and all these things. So these banks will provide the growth opportunities to the business which are not provided domestically. And last is the risk reduction. So greater stability of earning due to diversification. Now, what is the meaning of diversification? Diversification means not putting all the investments or not putting all the investment avenues together and putting the investment in different avenues. The term used for this is not keeping in term used for this in the finance is not keeping all the eggs in one basket. For example, if diversification is not done, then if the investment is in one country only, if there was an adverse economic condition in that country, so the banks will have the business of bank will go to fail and banks will be in the huge losses. For example, due to the diversification means if the business of the bank is in more than one country, then it will not be happening that in the whole world the countries where the bank is having the business will be having the adverse economic condition or unstable political condition. Let's take another example: unstable political condition. Now here the banks can reduce their risk by diversifying their investment in the different countries because they are having the benefit of MNCs, so they can diversify their investment in multiple countries to avoid the risk or of losing their capital and to minimize the losses which may have occurred in one. For example, the term what the term means not keeping all the investment or all not the all keeping not all the eggs in one basket means if the investment is done in one country and if there was the economic adverse economic condition or unstable political condition, then there may be huge losses to the bank in that particular country. Now, bank is having in the business in the around 200 countries in the world. Now, here the business is diversified among the different countries. Although bank will have all the benefits of knowledge, technical know-how, all the things. Plus, if there was a loss in one avenue, so it will be covered by the another avenue or the another country. So the diversification helps in the risk reduction for the every business, and this is for the bank. So this is the next important thing that why the international bank has been commons, and this is the reason for the execution of international bank. So these are the points regarding the reasons for the in, reasons for the international banking. So we will take a brief overview. First is the low marginal cost. Second, knowledge advantage. Third, home nation information services. Prestige, regulatory advantage, wholesale defensive strategy, retail defensive strategy, transactional cost, growth, and risk reduction. So now we will how the function of international banking works. So this is the very another important question in the mind of every student that how the international banking system works. We have already studied the banks will issue letter of credit, bill of lending, and all these things we are discussing. But how actually these things are being worked in the market? So this can be explained with the help of this example. For example, there was a luxury store in India who's an importer, who's an importer, and he has to import some goods from the exporter, which is in another company. The name is that is the luxury store is the Indian company, a person who is doing the business in India, and the Ladwaste, that is the exporter of the particular garments or things which he has imported to the store in the India. Now, what the importer has done, importer request for the letter of credit for the amount of sale. Bank issues the letter of credit for fee. Now, the letter of credit is not a free; it has been issued by the bank for a fee, and the fees is to be payment by the importer because the bank is taking the guarantee on the basis of importer that if the importer fails to pay the payment, then bank will pay the payment on the behalf of that particular importer. So here, the bank, the luxury store will approach the bank, that is any of the bank, let's take a US bank, to issue a letter of credit. So what the bank will do, bank will issue the letter of credit to this importer for the fees. And next thing is, bank will send that LOC to the exporter. Second step. First step, this will approach the bank. Let's take a US bank, any of the US bank or the local bank if the importer is from the USA. So, and the exporter is from the UK. Let's take another example. So what he has done, he will apply for the letter of credit to the US bank, and US bank will issue the letter of credit to the exporter for the amount for which the sale has to be done. Because if the letter of credit, it is also a type of transaction security that the bank will issue to the exporter, that if importer fails to pay, then the bank will pay for the particular letter of credit. Now, letter of credit, again, it has been issued for some security, or it is for some of the, it is just like a bills of exchange that on the maturity date, the this bank will ask for the payment from this particular importer. If it fails, then the consequences will be same as the default in the bill of exchange. Now, next, now exporter sends the goods to the importer. Now, first circle is complete. Now, this has applied for the letter of credit. This issues the letter of credit to this on the name of this exporter, and exporter will export the good. This is the first thing. Now, exporter has exported the good. Now, he wants the money. Now, what he will do, he exporter presents with the foreign bank with the time draft on the USA bank. Now, foreign bank means any of the bank which is the MNC bank. Now, what the exporter has done, exporter has sent this LOC, that we can also say a draft, to the foreign bank for the payment on which the person that the exporter is holding the account. Now, what the foreign bank will do, he will immediately make the payment. He will immediately send the payment to the exporter. So here the function of this exporter will get its payment. Now, next thing, now the foreign bank, what he will do, the bank will return the time draft to US bank which send the payment. Now, this bank send the letter of credit or the draft, we can say the order time draft, which is also another name of LOC, to the this US bank, and US bank will in return make the payment. So here this circle is complete. First circle is here, that is when the letter of credit is requested, bank issues, export done. Now here the exporter present with the foreign bank. Now the foreign bank will make the payment. Second circle completed. Now third circle is that now here the bank will send that time draft or the letter of credit to the US bank, the bank who has issued that letter, for the payment. Now bank has already made the payment to this. In this, the bank has already made the payment to this. Now here this bank will send the payment to this foreign bank. So here the third circle of the transaction is over. Now, what is the next and last thing is that now issuing bank accept the draft and decided whether to hold it or sell it. Now, hold it means the bank will hold till the maturity. Sell it means to get discounted it from the another bank. For example, if the bank sell it before the maturity, for example, the letter of credit that is the time demand, the validity is for the 6 months, and there was a time left for the 3 months. Now, to get the payment from the bank is having the two options. First, whether issue bank accept that defendant decided to hold it till the maturity, because the time defined in this time draft is 6 months, and on the maturity of that time, after the maturity or on the due date of maturity or before the maturity, this has to importer has to clear the payment to this bank. First thing. Secondly, or to sell it means if there was a time validity of 6 months, and after 3 months this bank has sold or get it discounted from the another bank. So here the bank will get the payment, and the another bank will, the bank which is left will approach the importer for the payment. And if it is hold, then this bank on the maturity will have to, on the maturity will demand the payment from the importer. So here when the demand for mature, the holder demand the payment from the importer. So for example, the time of 6 months is over, and there was a due date for the payment. Now this bank will send that time demand or LOC to the this importer for the payment, and if it fails to make the payment, then it is defaulted. But here there was a security in the international business due to the international banking system. That first thing is that now here the exporter gets securities that the payment will not be defaulted by the importer because the bank is taking the guarantee. Second, bank has presented to this foreign bank, and foreign bank on the surety that they will get money from this bank will make a payment to here now using the SWIFT codes, because it is another terminology, that is a SWIFT code, which is being used by the banks to settle the international monetary transactions. Now here next, the foreign bank is also having the surety of getting money from this bank, and this bank also pays to here. Now here the risk is there, the whole risk is with this bank, that is the US bank, because if the default is made, then the consequences between the importer and this bank only. So all these parties get secured due to the international, that is due to the well established international banking system. So this is how the international banking system works. Next, continuing with the example, now here the international banking system. Now, where we are discussing about the working of the international banking system. So there are the very various things which has to be discussed further. First is that international banking system will share the risks, it will maintain the liquidity and provide the information to using, that is financial market and domestic and international market. So there, these are the things which are generally involved in the business. For example, continuing with this example, for example, this bank sold the instrument or time draft to some other bank or get it discounted before the maturity. It sell the bank. So they have also approached the financial market to for the transaction of this bank. So here the first is the risk sharing. Here the currency and interest rate swaps reduce the customer exposing to the exchange rate risk. Now what is the swap? Swap means swapping means a swapping one currency with the another. So the currency and interest rate swap means if we swap the currency one currency with another currency, then it is called the currency swap. Interest rate swap means it is swap the interest rates, that is the interest document with one country to another country. For example, let's take an example of the currency swaps. For example, in Japan, the US dollar is available at the lower price. In India, UK sterling pound is available at the lower price. Now the person will approach to the swap dealer for the transaction. Now the swap dealer will charge a fee, which is a very minimum fees for the transaction. What he will do, and there are two person in the person in India who wants the US dollar, and the person, another businessman in the Japan, who wants the sterling pounds. Now both of them approach to a swap dealer. Now swap dealer will swap the deal, so he will buy a US dollar at the cheaper rate and provide it to the person in India who wants to make a payment in US dollar, whereas the businessman from the Japan who wants to make a payment in the Japanese, in the sterling pound, he will get, swap dealer will buy the US pound from the US sterling pound from the Indian market and provide it to the person in the Japan. So here the currency rate swaps are being done. This is done by the international banking system. So here the swap dealer may be the international bank. So they share the risk. They share the risk of the currency rate or the exchange rate fluctuations. Now next is the interest rate swap. Now interest rate swap is that, for example, a 3-month credit in India is available at 10%, and whereas 3-month credit in China is available at 12%. So here if the person wants a money, what in the China, if the person want money, he will approach to the bank to raise the money from India at the rate of 10% for the period, and he will make the payment after the maturity. So here again, the interest rate has been swapped between the two different countries by providing the currency at the cheaper rate. So first thing is this. Second, liquidity. Banking participation in foreign exchange market provides the liquidity and reduces transaction cost. Now, liquidity and transaction cost, I have already given the example of the transaction cost. Now, what is the meaning of transaction cost? Transaction cost means, for example, there are two banks in different countries, and there are two customers in different countries. We have taken an example of the Bank of America, and there was a one importer and one exporter in the India. So they have, one person has to make a payment in US dollar, and another person has to make a payment in US dollar. Now what the bank will do? Bank will swap these things. He will settle first rupees with rupees and dollars with dollars, and remaining amount they will settle in some other transaction cost. So this is how the banks will maintain liquidity. Now here, the liquidity neither in the Indian subsidiary nor in the USA holding branch of the Bank of America has been affected, because the transaction is settled with another transaction in the domestic country only. So here the liquidity will retain with the bank. Next is bankers' acceptance reduce the information cost in international credit transaction. Now, information cost, how it has been reduced, because bank is having the multiple branch in multiple countries. So if the interest rate, let's take an example of interest rate swap. For example, in the one country the loan is available at the cheaper rate, in another country the rate of interest on loan is higher as set by the central bank of that particular country. Now what the international bank or multinational bank will do, they will raise the money from where the loan is available at the cheaper rate, and they will provide the money in the country where the loan is available at the higher rate. So here the bank will provide the information regarding interest rate to the consumer of that, or the account holder of that bank, that in which country the rate of the interest rate is less and in which country the interest rate is more. So here this will provide the information for the business transaction, which is helpful in controlling the business transaction and avoiding the risk. So here the main objectives of the international banking, first they will risk sharing, they will maintain liquidity, and they will provide the information to the domestic as well as to the international customer. So this is what we are discussing about the functioning of the international banking system. Now next important thing is the euro currency market. Now what is the meaning of euro currency market? Before the World War II, the pound was served as an international transaction currency. First thing, as we are discussing the evaluation of monetary system. So in this we know that before the World War II, because maximum territories of the world are under the British jurisdiction or under the control of Britishers, so they have only served the US pound as the international transaction currency. After that, a euro dollar or is a dollar denominated deposited in the bank outside the USA. So a euro dollar means it is a dollar denominated deposited in a bank outside the USA. For example, what is it means that, for example, a yens are dollars are deposited in Japan in the form of yen denominations. So here the dollars, how the dollars are denominated deposited in the bank which is outside the USA, is known as the euro dollar market. So British banks, trying to avoid these rules on the use of pounds, so they have created a euro dollar market that is known as the LIBOR, that is London Interbank Offer Rate. So they are using this term. So much of the international banking is done in the banking centers called as euro market. So the banking sector where these transactions are being done are all called as the euro markets. So where these transactions are being denominated in the banks which are outside the USA. For example, in India we have taken the example, the US dollars are held by the SBI in the form of INR. So here the US dollars are being denominated and it is deposited in the bank which is outside the USA. Next, euro currency is the time deposit in the international bank located in the country different than the country that issues the currency. Now here, for example, we will take two examples here to explain this. First, the US, that is the euro dollars. These are the US dollars which are denominated, which is US dollar denominated time deposited in the bank located outside the United States. For example, the dollars are deposited in the SBI, State Bank of India. So here the SBI will be known as the euro currency market. So again, euro yen. Here the yens are deposited time deposited in the bank located outside the Japan. So if your currency is deposited in any of the market or any of the bank which is outside your country, that is known as the euro currency and the euro market. So here, what is that? It lowers the structure cost. There is no reserve requirement. Reserve requirement means as the bank has to operate, has to maintain some reserves regarding that currency reserves. So in the case of this euro market or the euro dollar market or the euro market, the reserve requirement is zero. Deposit insurance is zero, because these these are the time deposits and there is no need to having the insurance against these deposits, because these does not belong to the general public. Next, rapid growth, especially in the euro dollar market. Next, this is the external banking system that runs parallel to the domestic banking system. So this this is the another example of the Euro banking system. That this is the banking system which runs parallel to the domestic banking system. Most of the euro currency transactions are interbank transaction in the amount of this, that is 10 lakhs dollars and above. Bank seeks deposit and make loans to the euro banks. Now in the form of loan, interest rate is interbank offer rate, that is known as the interbank offer rate at which the loan is available. Now next is the interbank deposit rate, is also known as the interbank bid rate. Now these are the two type of rate. Bid rate is that rate which is given to the person who has deposited the amount, and the offer rate means the rate at which the loan is being offered to the person. So here the common references rate includes the LIBOR, that is London interbank offer rate, FIBOR, that is Paris interbank offer rate, SIBOR, that is Singapore interbank offer rate. So here new reference rates are also there, that is EIBOR, that is the Eurobor, that is the EUR is for Euro, that is Euro interbank offer rate. So here this is the rate of interbank bank deposit on the euro and offered from one prime bank to the another. For example, what it means, the euro market means, for example, for the transaction in India, if if the main bank is, let's take an example, that is the State Bank of India is having the maximum foreign currency. Now, for example, to having the transaction or to complete the international transaction, that is, let's take an example, that is the Canara Bank approaches SBI to get the money in the terms of dollars to settle the amount. So here the bank will provide the US dollars to that, or any of the currency which is held under the euro market to the bank for the interest, that is known as the interbank offer rate, that is the loan of interest rate that bank will charge for providing the currency to the another bank. And if any of the bank want to deposit the dollars or any of the another underlying currency with the euro bank, then in that case the interest rate is offered, and that is known as the bid rate. So this is the concept of euro markets. So euro currency market, that how it works. So we will discuss with this, that is the term in the next lecture, as we have over with the time. So we will continue with this. If you are having any queries regarding this, you can ask through the WhatsApp message or by simply sending the comment on the video or through the WhatsApp. Thank you. Thank you for being with us.